This is Continuum Drag, a weekly podcast where we revisit sci-fi, fantasy, and just plain weird shows.
This week, Inhumans, episodes 3 and 4.
Being king isn't what you think it is. It requires sacrifice, responsibility.
I'm sorry, Dad, but from what I've seen, your job is pretty boring.
It's not boring. He's the king.
Of Adelan, all 1,400 people.
Black Bolt, the day you take the crown, you will inherit all of the power and all the weight of being the leader of a great people.
Honestly, I don't want that. I'd rather just be me.
I wish I could be king.
Sorry, it doesn't work that way, Maximus.
Like, if I'm killed in battle?
We are not at war at the moment.
But if he does die, I'm king, right?
No one is going to die. I promise. Both my sons are destined for great things.
Welcome to Continuum Drag, the podcast that in retrospect should have set itself in Hawaii. I'm Luke, here with my co-host Jordan. What's real, Jordan?
Today would be a nice day to be in Hawaii.
Imagine, I was watching this and the more I watch it, I realized I'm like, since Lost, I think everyone realizes like, we could just go live in Hawaii and make a TV show.
It's like the old Adam Sandler way of making movies, where it's clearly just a vacation with a movie written around it.
I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Why not, if you can do it?
Why wouldn't you? It'd be so nice. Imagine just waking up, it's Hawaii. You don't want
to be here
coconut.
in the winter in Toronto with it's raining and maybe snowing and it's dark. It's dark in like the middle of the afternoon.
No Hawaii, that's for sure.
No Hawaii.
All right, Jordan. Well, before we get into this week's episodes, do you have a little something for us?
I do. It's something we've done before, and I should have like an echo in my voice or something here for guess the role. There'll be an echo or something.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Thank you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give, you'll play this week. I'll be the dungeon master.
You're the host?
The host? Dungeon master is what I went to.
Well, you go to what you know.
Yeah. So I'll give you some movies or TV, and you will give me who you think the actor was that was in the role. And so these are our major, I think it's 6 people.
All right, great. Because I'm also going to need to know the character's name in the show to know who the actor is.
Oh, yeah, that might be tough. Anyways, so our actors are the main 6 people in the show, which are Black Bolt, played by Anson Mount.
Of course.
Medusa, played by Serinda Swan.
Sure.
Doesn't sound like a real name, but Karnak is played by Ken Leung. Gorgon is, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher this, so I apologize, Emmy Ikwakor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Emi? I'm sorry, Emmy.
Closer than I could have got.
Crystal is played by Isabel Cornish. And Maximus is played by, and now again, you may actually know, is it Iwan Rion?
I have no idea.
Ian Rion? Anyway, sorry everyone for the pronunciation, but that's who, that's old Game of Thrones boy, and that's Maximus. So those are our main people. So I'm going to give you some roles they did earlier in their career, and you can see if you can tell just by the title.
Give me the first title.
You're going to like this one, Beyond Loch Ness.
Okay, that's Maximus.
All right, the second movie, Puberty Blues.
Puberty Blues.
There's a couple here you may know, but there's also, some of these titles are pretty bad.
Can I get a date on Puberty Blues?
Puberty Blues shows up as 2012.
All right, I'm going to pick Crystal.
I like that you're going by their character names and not their real names.
Yes, that's how I know them best.
Third movie is called Sucker Free City.
Sucker Free City.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
I mean, all these are
I'm going to go with, I might regret this. I'm going to go with Karnak.
Fourth one, Secret Diary of a Call Girl.
Oh, that's Medusa. I watch that all the time.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. It's on like loop. I got a DVD that just spins.
Just constantly,
Constantly.
Next one is a show I think you have watched, Silicon Valley.
Oh, Silicon Valley. I'm going to go with Gorgon on this one. Though it may very well have been Karnak. I may have got those two mixed up. Though that may have been my fatal mistake.
And the last one, I think your favorite movie series. This is from the final installment, I believe, which is Urban Legends Final Cut.
Oh, that's got to be Aston Mount. I don't know why, but he's the only one I have left, so it's got to be him.
Okay, shall we tally these up?
Yeah. Well, how'd I do?
You did pretty well. You scored 3 out of 6. No, 4 out of 6.
4 out of 6. Who did I get right? I have a guess of who I got wrong.
You want to know the ones you got right?
Yeah.
Urban Legends Final Cut was Anson Mount.
Yes.
Silicon Valley was, and I'm sorry again,
Oh,
Emi Ikwakor.
Oh, wow. So I was right. Oh, that's great.
Sucker Free City was Ken Leung.
Okay, see, I thought those two might be the only ones that I would swap, but I got those right.
Puberty Blues was
Crystal?
Isabel Cornish.
Oh. So I didn't get Call Girl and I didn't get Loch Ness. That was swapped around.
Serinda Swan was in Beyond Loch Ness. That's an Oscar winner. And then what's his face? Ewan was in Secret Diary of a Call Girl.
Because he's in Game of Thrones, and which I assume means he's European, I just assumed he'd be in a movie about Loch Ness.
Right.
That's
Right.
how I got there.
But you know what? That's pretty good. I think last time I did got 1 or something like that.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take 4 out of 6. That's not
Pretty
bad.
good. Pretty good. And aren't those some classics?
Because you couldn't get 5 out of 6.
No.
If you got 5 out of 6, you'd have 6 out of 6. So really, I got as close as you can get.
Yeah. Without being perfect, it's as close as you can get.
Absolutely. All right, Jordan. Ready to get into these episodes?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the IMDb summary for episode 3. Divide and Conquer. The Inhumans desperately search for each other in the wake of Maximus's coup. They must learn who they can trust on Earth.
I guess that's kind of what it is. It's a lot of wandering around.
I mean, this is something we can talk about as we go, but really, you could pick any individual's plot going forward and pretty much just follow it because they don't really intersect anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I have chosen to start us off with Gorgon and the Surfers.
Sure. And you are right. And it's an odd choice. I'm not saying it's the wrong choice because we're not really sure, but it's an odd choice to have a team and then decide immediately to not have that team be together. And that's what the show wants to do. It goes, you know what? The strength of this team are in individual parts, and they're very boring stories.
Well, the Gorgons with the Surfers. The Surfers now all have automatic weapons, or in one case, a crossbow.
Did one have a crossbow?
Yeah, one had a crossbow. He was highly featured with his crossbow.
Oh, I know they all had guns, and there's some pretty funny Predator-esque scenes there, but...
And I think you mentioned this last episode, which I missed, but they're all veterans.
Yes.
And they have chosen to fight with Gorgon because they respect his wanting to help his king, because they're going to do this in honor of their own king who is deposed by the United States of America.
Yeah, it's a stretch, but that's
why they're here. That's why they're here.
I like that they had the reason ready to go, though. They've been waiting for someone to come by. They're like, we got all these guns. We're still pissed off about that king. If just a weird hoof man from the moon would come by, this would all work out.
Tell us about your king.
Yeah,
and we'll
exactly.
tell you about our king. You show us your king. I'll show us my king. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay, great. You may recall in the previous episode, Oren, Maximus's bodyguard.
Yeah, kind of
he was previously stabbed to death and came back to life.
Personal assassin.
Maximus gives her a call and tells her, "Hey, go after Gorgon. He left his comm signal open. You can go take him out. I'll send you down a team. And not only am I going to send you a cool team of Inhumans, I'm going to send you a super powerful Inhuman, a guy named Mortis."
Yeah, what's his name? Mortis?
Mortis.
I was a little disappointed in Mortis.
He's so powerful, they have to keep him locked up.
I know, that's why. So you were like, what is this guy going to be like? And I have to say, he looked pretty cool. I liked his mask. It's kind of like, what would you call his mask?
I would call his mask, and I've written down here, a low-budget horror film killer's mask.
Yeah. But he also has kind of prominent glass eyes.
His eyes glow behind. It's like a welder's mask that's also been welded together. But yeah, he's got glowing eyes behind it, and I like him. He's got a bit of a robot voice, and he's very snarky. Yeah, but in a very likable way.
Yeah, yeah. They really want to sell his personality real quick.
And what is his power?
He's Cyclops.
Yeah, he's just got Cyclops eye blasts.
That's it.
I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you caught all of this, because all the other team members for Oren are pretty minor players, but I've got 3 that we get to meet in the next 2 episodes.
Oh, can I cut you off real quick? My note was that I called him, because I never got his name. What's the guy's name again, old Cyclops?
Mortis.
I just referred to him as Ninja Scrap Metal Guy.
Great.
I think that describes it.
As good as anything.
Yeah. Sorry, you continue.
All right. So here's who else is on the team. There might be a couple other people who we don't get to meet, but this is who we know.
I know one has a midriff showing.
There's one, Flora.
Yeah.
What's Flora's power?
She's the one who I believe she can touch the ground and move branches to make a path?
Exactly. In one of the weakest effects the show's ever done.
Yeah. And it's really bad. It looks like
It looks like people with strings pulling on.
Yeah, pulling. And my point to that was, how does she even know she has that power? She's not moving trees up on the moon.
I know that. I thought the same thing. I'm like, there's no plants on the moon that we've seen. And also, how is she helpful to you in this attack?
Yeah, it's just, it's a weird, I don't know what that idea was.
Okay, there's Locust. Do you remember Locust?
Oh, no, which one was that?
Locust can do echolocation.
Oh, right, yeah. He's a dolphin. She's a dolphin, excuse me.
She, when she started doing it the first time, I thought she was doing bird calls.
That's right, yeah.
And I immediately thought of that old AI Vanessa from Quark, and I was like, I wonder if she'll tell some ribald stories too.
That's funny.
And then finally, this guy didn't get a name, but he is the one we get to see. He's prominently featured. He's a guy with a lot of facial scarring and some real pointy teeth, and his power is he spits out smoke monsters that fly at you and touch you and you die.
Yeah. That's you know what? That's an effective team.
That's what
right there.
What a team.
Well, the one thing you know about them is they're always going to have a path.
They're always cutting a path. As long as you're in a jungle.
As long as you're in jungle, they're good, yeah.
They're tracking down Gorgon, and they track down his comm signal. Gorgon, of course, has set it up as a trap because he knows they're coming.
He knows they're coming, and he's like, hey, surfer guys, let's plan a trap for them. And their trap is, I'm going to leave my little wrist communicator thing.
Yeah, to draw them to it.
They're going to go into like a...
It's like a hut. It's a little hut.
A hut container thing. They open up, they're like, it's a trap. And then they all just start shooting at them. I was like, that's the worst plan ever.
It's a very good plan, I think.
Is it? Oh, it's terrible.
No.
He didn't have any time to... He should have set some Kevin McAllister booby traps.
The plan itself, I think, is fine. They've climbed into trees. They have vantage points down to the middle of this open field. The only flaw with the plan is the men with the guns literally can't hit anything.
Yeah.
They're shooting fish they have every when it actually...
Yeah, do they hit one person?
No, when it actually starts happening, when the attack happens, the Inhumans are running and there's gunfire like all over the ground around everyone's feet, but it's like they're shooting around them. And I was just like, this is insane, you guys. Gorgon, did you even test these guys? Did you see if they're any good? Are they really veterans? I think it's stolen valor.
You're always saying that, though.
That is true. Anyone I come,
but he gets to do his little stomp, though, doesn't he?
He does. I mean, he gets in a fight with Oren. They, a bit of a fist fight. Old Scarface Smoke Breath kills old Crossbow Man.
Yeah,
kills poor Crossbow Man.
Yeah.
And then basically Mortis does an old stomp. Oh, that's not true actually. Before Gorgon does his stomp, Mortis finally comes out and he gets to show us his cool power where he blows up that hut with his eyes.
Yeah,
which was it's overpowered.
Yeah, it's a very effective weapon. It's way more effective. And also, I should point out, when you go into that, what is it called? The telegenesis thing? What do you call it?
Oh, Terrigenesis.
The Terrigenesis machine. It's a real gamble because you literally might just end up a freak, or you might end up with a weapon. I like that it's not even just like a power. You might get an actual weapon. And we didn't mention it's either in this episode or the previous episode. One of the people we see, their power they got is they're a human projector. And they just project with their eyeballs.
Oh, I forgot about that guy.
Remember?
That's
and
right.
It's like, that's what you got? So all he can do is project PowerPoint presentations? What a terrible, terrible power.
Where's he getting the data from, too? That's a lot of questions.
That's true, yeah.
But yeah, Gorgon stomps the ground with his foot stomp, knocks everybody down, and him and the surfers run away, and that's it for Gorgon. His trap didn't work. He killed a surfer. He's running away.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause this real quick, though, because Jordan, you got into something I was going to get into later. So let's do it now.
What's that?
I want to talk about Terrigenesis for a second.
Okay.
Because a lot of this show is this idea that Maximus is going to, he's mad because some people end up in the mines because they have shitty powers, and some people get to be cool.
Yeah, his idea is not bad. He really wants equality, and he wants things to be better. Now, the way he's going about it, we may not agree with, but his basic general idea is not bad.
His goal is actually fairly noble. He's kind of like the Dragon Queen with a worse arc than the Dragon Queen had.
Yeah, right.
If you just started her off as being clearly the bad guy instead of making her the bad guy at the end, which still didn't exactly work. But it's like he has good ideas where you think people could rally around him, but his execution of them is just purely villainous.
Yeah.
But what I want to kind of get into here is, he's basically fighting for people who didn't get good powers. But I actually think, and I went through and I tried to count all of the Inhumans we've met so far. And I don't know if Terrigenesis... I think everyone should just be fighting against having Terrigenesis. I think everyone should not want to get it.
Yeah.
Because we have met 16 Inhumans. That's that by my count.
Okay.
Either ones who have names or ones that we've met individually. Now that's no, we don't know the whole population. We don't know the exact math on this, but of the 16 I think we have seen so far in this show, here are the ones who had awful transformations. Black Bolt can't open his mouth, kills people. Like that's like terrible. That is like truly a curse. Maximus didn't get anything. Gonna have to work in the mines. Same with the psychic kid. Mines again. Mortis, blast eyes. He's too dangerous. He's got to keep locked in a room. There's the guy who turned into a wall.
Yeah, that's the worst one. It's hard to argue against that one.
There's Scarface breathes smoke. That's like, he looks horrible. Like, that man is lonely. His whole life has been ruined by Terrigenesis. And I am going to posit two things here. I'm going to give Gorgon, and remember Trident, the blue guy with the fin? I'm going to give them both a pass. Let's assume hooves, you can get through life. It's okay. Maybe your life's okay still. And I'm going to say maybe green guy, that's maybe being green ends up not being a huge social defect for him. So I've listed what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 people so far of our 16. But I think there's someone else we've all forgotten about.
Who's that?
There are no animals on the moon.
Except for Dog Boy. What's his name?
For Lockjaw.
Lockjaw.
Who I think used to be a human and has been Terrigenesis into a giant dog.
I think that's worth looking into, which we should for the next episode. That's a very good theory.
But let me put it, so let's call it 7 Inhumans right now who I'm saying you have either curses or are so ugly you can't live in society. That's a 44% chance of Terrigenesis screwing you completely.
Yeah. And you didn't even mention old Projector Eyes that I talked about.
I guess
earlier.
that gets us up that closer to 50%. There's like almost a half and half chance when you're 13 they turn you into a monster who can't live in society.
What is the general benefit of it? Because it's not like they're getting like super strong, I can make a building better, or this one is I create water out of nothing. You know what I mean? They're literally like, some of them are weapons or they're freaks.
I guess what I'm wondering is, shouldn't the people be rebelling against having to be Terrigenesis?
You think so?
I've been thinking about this all week. I'm just like, I think it's a curse. I think that's the bigger, not that people are being put in the mines, but that anyone's being Terrigenesis.
All I think is that some real treasonous talk coming from you.
I mean, it's total treason. I've always wanted to be king.
I have no interest in being king. I want to be that wall guy.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just there, and everyone comes by. I'm like, I guess you want to project
it in your family until you climb into you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough of that weird rabbit hole I took us down. I was doing the math on it this weekend while I was watching the show. I'm like, this is awful.
Let's keep it running total.
I'm not going to.
Okay. So who's the other plot? Because that's pretty much Gorgon.
Yeah, Gorgon's done. Let's move on. I've got Karnak up next.
Oh, Karnak's, of all the plot lines this episode, this is my favorite. Luke, is it not your favorite?
It is not my favorite.
Because it is the dumbest, most nonsensical plot, but let's do it.
Well, Gorgon, as we know, is injured and he's a little confused. He wanders into what, as they call Karnak. Sorry, thank you, Karnak. He's been injured from falling, and now he's wandering around the jungle.
Yeah.
He wanders into, as they call it, an illegal ganja farm.
Now, I don't know about Hawaii as much as you. Is this a common problem in Hawaii?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think the idea of, even in 2017, an illegal ganja farm in a world where medical marijuana in the States is widely available doesn't make a lot of sense.
Also, they're all kind of dressed like video game characters. Like characters in like an adventure game.
Yeah.
Like it's like, they're like, I'm wearing like a khakis and like a kind of dirty shirt that has like a strap on it and stuff. And I was like, that's all weird.
Yeah, they're real outdoorsy. I mean, there's 2 guys.
They're real outdoorsies, yeah.
And a woman, and basically one of the guys is a jerk. These are all the things we get to know about them. And they tie Karnak up, and they're kind of like discussing what to do with him. Maybe they should kill him, and we get to see Karnak.
Because they're worried that he's going to rat them out about their ganja farm.
Because they're making illegal drugs in the jungle. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. And they've sunk all their money into it. And it's
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And we get to see Karnak trying to use his powers again, where he's like, we see him envisioning kicking over a table and the entire tent collapses on them. It was my favorite part, though, because like he envisions the whole thing and we see it fall down and he's like, time to do it. And he just kicks over a table and just kind of like lands on its side.
Yeah, nothing happens.
It was just like the weakest.
Yeah. Although I don't even know in the best case scenario how you'd ever be able to kick over a table, knock down everything.
It was very, I mean, his vision was very ambitious.
I think his visions are just wishful thinking.
Yeah, maybe.
He looks down, he's got great abs.
He's what's his name? Walter Mitty?
Yeah, that's right.
He's Walter Mitty. Anyway, the lady ganja farmer sort of takes pity on him and kind of gives him some first aid, and they start making some eyes at each other.
She takes more than a little pity. And this is not ruining anything because this is what the plot's going to be. But they pushed that she's got the hots for him
Right off the
bat, and apropos of nothing. He does nothing, and she's just like, I like you. I like the way you look. We're doing it.
They have a great conversation here, though. They're like, hey, thank you for healing my wound. She's like, what do these face tattoos mean? What are these face tattoos on your face? Which you've never mentioned. He has face tattoos, which I never thought about, because I'm like, yeah, of course, he's an Inhuman. He has face tattoos. And his answer is, oh, it's a dumb thing I did as a teenager. And I was just like, what? That's like, I didn't need an explanation. It's fine. You're an Inhuman. You have tattoos on your face.
It just looks cool.
And the writers were like, we got to explain these tattoos. And we don't like them either. So dumb mistake.
Anyways, but she likes that. You know, he's all like, it was a dumb thing. He's like, but they're a reminder that, like, of mistakes, and I've learned from them. And that's exactly what she wants to hear. Anyway,
Karnak offers to stay on the farm, and he's going to help them out until his power returns, so he can be helpful to other people. But until then, can he work on this farm? And
his plan is really to, like, help these farmers. I guess is his plan.
I mean that he basically offers, like, I'll stay and just like farm here for you. And they basically accept his offer. And he's a ganja farmer now. End of episode. End of episode for Karnak.
I know, it's really. I'm telling you, these plots are. It's such an odd choice, again, to have separated them, because they don't intersect. They don't have any repercussions on the other storylines. And also, they're individually really boring.
I mean, it's just so little happens in them. Let's go to the moon and check on Princess Crystal and Maximus.
Yep.
Maximus, once again, is hanging out in Crystal's bedroom, trying to get her to support his coup. He even wrote her a little speech that he'd like her to read to the Genetic Council. And she decides she'll do it this time, kind of as long as he stays true to his word not to hurt the royal family. So Maximus gathers up the whole Genetic Council, and he tells them, hey, I want you to draft an edict abolishing the caste system. Great. Good. That's good. Good job, Maximus.
Yeah.
And he's just like, all right, Crystal, why don't you show them you support me? And she's just like, yeah, where's my dog? Where's my dog Lockjaw? And Maximus is just like, if I give you your dog, you're going to run away. So no, I'm not going to give you your dog. That's crazy. As anyone would.
Yeah.
You're not going to give your dog.
And what I like is, my theory is why Lockjaw had to get sedated immediately is he's expensive. He's expensive in every scene. So it's like, Lockjaw, let's just put him over there. That expensive CGI character.
He's also like Superman. He ruins all your plots.
That's true.
There's nothing he can't do. So Crystal starts her speech, which goes like this. She looks at the Genetic Council and says, he's king. Dramatic pause. Of no one.
Yeah, I wrote that down too. It's great.
And then she like freeze blasts some guards. She runs off. She finds Lockjaw. They finally teleport themselves down to Hawaii. As soon as they get to Hawaii, Lockjaw gets hit by an ATV. He's driving out of the dark.
Like immediately.
Yeah, they land. He gets hit by an ATV.
But good news, the guy that hits them.
That's not time yet.
No, that doesn't even happen yet.
No, it's not yet. This is the end of her. That's the end of Crystal.
You know what's funny? All this blurs together for me because obviously we watched 2 episodes, and we'll talk about the next episode. But like, I forget how little happens in these little chunks.
That's all that happens to Crystal. And then we're back on the moon. Maximus, of course, is not surprised by her inevitable trail. And he basically just uses, I feel like he half expected it, because he basically is just like, you see, the royal family is going to just screw us all. Like, he just uses it as an example of why it's going on.
He's good on his feet.
And kind of like just proof how shitty they are to the Genetic Council. I like also that throughout this episode, we get flashbacks to teenage Maximus. And teenage Maximus, all he does is say, I want to be king.
Yeah.
I'm going to be king. Like, he's been telegraphing this mutiny
from the beginning.
From like 13 years old.
Yeah. The sense I get is that Black Bolt's not very bright.
Well, no, he is a dummy.
Yeah.
I think that is 100% clear at this point.
He's a dummy.
Also, what was interesting is I thought all the people in the mines were people who Terrigenesis and just ended up being humans. But it turns out he's the only one that's ever happened to. So all the people in the mines just have crappy powers.
Is that right?
Yeah, they say he's the first person, the Genetic Council is like, you're the first person to ever like go in, because their genes are like alien genes. He's the only one ever to come out as like a full human at the end of it. So that was just a little retroactive.
So they just have powers like they can grow their fingernails real quick or whatever.
Yeah. Like your long neck.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a giraffe. What's over there?
That's your character. Yeah. All right. Let's find out what's going on with Queen Medusa.
Oh,
she's having a real Galactica 1980 adventure.
Yes, and she's my least favorite character. Officially my least favorite character.
When we first see her, she's on the beach and she sees people using an ATM.
Yeah.
And she walks up to the ATM and says, "Hello, machine. Please give me money. I'm the queen of the moon. And she keeps talking to it, just like the scene from Galactica, where they try to use a phone by talking to it.
And I can't believe I'm going to say this. The scene in Galactica 1980 was done better.
They did it better. There's no doubt they did it better. It also just opens up a can of worms I don't know how they're going to deal with, because she is talking to an ATM asking for money. Like, she's like an alien from Mars. Fine. But she later knows how to like call and order a cab, and she knows what a helicopter is.
Yeah.
So, and they're on the moon. They're clearly watching it. Like,
we mentioned this before, that in the first episode, Black Bolt's really surprised with cars and things. And it's like, okay, well, they don't have those up on the moon, but they've been watching Earth. They should know all the technology. They know all these advancements. So it doesn't really make sense.
Maximus had a razor from Earth.
Yeah.
There's a real disconnect for like how much they know about Earth and how much they don't know.
It's because they want it both ways. They want to have that kind of funny situations where like, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm going to say awkward things.
And then they're also the most powerful mutants on Earth.
Exactly.
It is like a really weird thing. She goes off. She breaks into a mansion where she steals money, credit cards, clothes, fruit, and dried goods.
Yeah, she's a real Goldilocks.
She's just taking everything she can get her hands on.
Although, don't you think, for not knowing, again, what people wear and stuff, she put together a good little outfit.
Yeah, it was a good outfit.
She got like the cool pants, the top, and then like a cool jean jacket.
Yeah, no, she looked great. This is where I think maybe they get fashion magazines up there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's what they order those to the moon. But while she's doing this, she happens to see a newspaper. Black Bolt's on the cover of the newspaper, being arrested for a crime.
Of course, that's the headline of
Top
the
story of the day.
Yeah, guy steals suit and is beaten to death by police officers.
He's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I better go to the prison. And she looks at the fridge, like, there's the phone number for a cab. Cab, take me to the prison.
There's a lot of weird shortcuts taken in the show for a show that is desperate to telegraph so many things with flashbacks, but then they're like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. She's able to get out of prison.
Yes, I don't know. There's a cab. There's a business card for a cab in the fridge. All right, finally, let's see what Black Bolt's up to this episode.
Oh yeah, not much.
He's been taken to prison. He's being threatened by the prison staff to kind of talk, but she can't because his voice will kill them all.
Was that? I wasn't quite. This is similar to the police officers. I don't understand why they're acting the way they are. I don't understand why the police were so aggressive and violent, and I don't understand why the prison guards are very similar. Is it like a question of the
showrunner's taken down?
He's
taken down the system, man. This prison guard, he knows his brother-in-law was that cop that Black Bolt beat up, so now he's gonna make sure he gets beat up because it's all corrupt, man.
Yeah,
all corrupt, all the way down to the center, man.
But I think you mentioned it before in the previous episode. The tonal issues are so weird because this is like a scene right after her going like, computer, give me money, and then it's like, ooh, like scary prison where people are abusing each other. It's like, what is this show?
I know. Yeah. So essentially the prison guards are like, we're going to put you unprotected into general population, and that'll probably loosen your tongue. And the villainous guard drags him out, and there's a very large prisoner named Sammy who, as he walks by, he tells the guard, put Black Bolt in my cell for a little playtime. And it's like, and the prison guard's like, yeah, I like the sound of that. I like how that sounds. I'm gonna put you in that guy's cell.
Yeah.
But what he doesn't know is Sammy had received a call early in the day from a mysterious Dr. Evan Declan.
Mm-hmm. Good name.
He wants Sammy to protect Black Bolt.
And he's all like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Sammy's like, okay, I'll do it. Declan's going to fly to Hawaii from his research facility in California after his assistant comes out and shows him a tablet with footage from last week's episode.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like in 2017, if you're going to show in-world footage to another character, you shouldn't be just using footage from last week's episode? Like, it's not like they're showing a cell phone camera. Like, this is like what they would do in like Galactic 1980. Like, remember last week, and you just watch last week's episode. It's like, how did they get this footage? Where are they getting this footage from? Yeah. But it's just like, it is just clips from last week's episode.
Well, also, you didn't need to ever even see it.
No, there's no reason.
There's no reason at all.
But it's like wide shots of him knocking over a car to a cut in to a close up of him being like, "Oh my god!" It's like, where's this footage
It was
from?
all the cell phones that were filming at the time, and then someone just homemade edited it.
Are you saying this is an all found footage show?
Yeah.
Like every camera angle we're supposed to think is someone's like cell phone?
No, it's just not. It's just not a very good show.
Genius. Anyway, he wants him to fly out there because, he's going to fly out there, rescue them. Sammy's going to protect him until he gets there, because what we'll come to learn is Sammy's also a bit of a mutant.
Yeah.
They spend some time when Black Bolt gets to his cell. Sammy's like, I'm going to protect you here. I like that he asks Black Bolt, he's just like, hey, how did you get your powers? That's why you can't talk, right? Was it a radioactive bug? Or did you wake up in a funky rock-like crust? And I'm just like, that is very specific.
My guess, and I could be wrong, was that this is some sort of like Fantastic Four joke.
Well, Sammy later says, I woke up in a funky rock crust. That's how he got his power. And his power, it's like his hands get real hot. And he like burnt down his house and killed his family. So that's why he's now in prison.
That's a sad story.
This is a tragedy.
He's also a more three-dimensional character than all the other Inhumans we've met so far.
I mean, Sammy is not bad, actually. They don't give him much to do.
No, he's not bad.
The actor's pretty good. The only mistake, he's like a large guy. Later, they make
the running scene.
They make him run, but they make him run at the front. And it like just slows down Black Bolt.
I know.
He's just like,
I thought the same thing.
Going a little
He's
slow.
not a runner.
It was a mistake to force him to do that. But when the guard comes back to check on like playtime, he just finds them playing chess in there, and the guard's fuming. He's like,
why didn't I ask what playtime was?
Why didn't I ask this? So he's like, all right, I know it's the middle of the night, but it's also everyone's in the yard for some reason.
Yeah.
So he pushes them out into the prison yard, and the guard's like, all right, now these inmates will beat you up in the prison yard. And all the inmates surround Black Bolt, and they're like, hey, you the guy who beat up those cops? Because that's real cool. We like you.
Again, it made no sense. It was the prisoner's response to him, but more importantly, they
cut back to the guard.
Yeah, the guard's
and
response.
Steam shoots out of both sides of his ear, and his head like boils red. He's like, what?
Yeah, none of it works.
So when the prisoners don't beat up Black Bolt, the guard just sends in other guards to start like, just like the cop scene earlier, they just start just like brutally bleeding Black Bolt, which kicks off a riot. The guards are fighting the prisoners are fighting the guards. Black Bolt and Sammy are able to slip out in the chaos, and Sammy uses his hot hands to melt a garage door down, and they kind of escape.
Yeah.
And outside of the prison, we finally get to catch up with Louise from Callisto Space Research.
Finally.
Otherwise known as fake NASA. And she's been sitting outside of the prison, begging the warden to let her meet Black Bolt, even though she has no reason to be there and he has no reason to let her. But she's been waiting there because Medusa is going to pull up in her cab right now, beat up a guard outside the prison. There's no other guard, just like one guy watching the front door.
And break in just as a helicopter lands in the prison yard with Dr. Declan inside, picking up Black Bolt. That's my short form for BB. Black Bolt and Sammy flying off, leaving Medusa with Louise to chase after them. She points a gun at Louise and says, follow that helicopter. And I was just like, that's not going to work. And we got a new team up. We got 2 team ups.
Partners.
That's
the end of the episode.
Yeah, that's the team up you were hoping for.
That's the end of the episode.
Yeah, nothing happened.
I mean, slow forward movement in these plots.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to the next episode because so much of this ties together.
Make way for Medusa.
That is the IMDb title for episode 4. Here's the summary.
Your fMRI scan shows you have an unusually large neural pathway connecting your cerebral cortex to your temporal lobe, supercharging your vocal cords. I'm both in awe of you and slightly terrified, extremely terrified of you. I don't know how you do it. A whisper in your sleep would kill your wife. You have the power to kill everyone you love.
The search for Black Bolt continues on Earth. Maximus makes bold moves to cement his status as new ruler of Adelan. All right, let's pick up where we left off with Medusa and Louise, partners.
Okay.
They're chasing the helicopter in a car. How they're going to keep up with this helicopter, I have no idea. But they run a red light. Cops see it. They start chasing them with the headlights on. Medusa leans out the window and shoots the cop's tires out until it crashes.
Yep.
She's a good shot. She doesn't need powers. She's a very good shot for a person I don't think has ever held a gun before. But in doing so, they lose the helicopter in that whole kerfuffle. Yeah. And they have to sort of stop by a lake to regroup. And as they get out of the car, Louise happens to notice that Medusa is looking at the moon.
Yeah.
And she immediately is like, hey, are you from the moon?
Yeah, she's like, you're looking at the moon. You live there, don't you? And then Medusa's like, yeah, I do live there. And what I might mark is, it's so stupid. The whole scene is so stupid. It loses a point just on that. The whole scene, it was one of the worst scenes ever.
She really pieces together her view of the moon instantaneously. And then Medusa's happy to tell her everything.
As they always do. A couple things we've learned is that people can figure things out real quick about the Inhumans, and they are desperate to tell their story. I think that's why the real reason why what's his face doesn't talk, Black Bolt, because he knows he's a big gossip like all of them.
This is gonna, yeah. I mean, they even talk about like, hey, did a hoof step on my moon rover? She's like, yeah, that's my cousin Gorgon.
Yeah,
like
know, they just say everything.
They say everything.
But I should say earlier on when they're in the car, what's her name? Julie?
Louise.
She figures out that Medusa is connected to Black Bolt. She's like, oh, you have a ring. He also has a ring that's very similar. You must be husband and wife. I was like, what?
They piece together.
They just piece together. Like, one, that's a long stretch to figure two people have rings. But also, who would have ever noticed the rings? It's all these things that the writers have put in. But I'm like, who cares? Why would this ever be a thing?
They both want it to move very quickly and then not move at all.
Yeah.
They go to Louise's hotel room because she's going to look at all the satellite footage she can get a hold of working for Callisto. And while they're doing that, the cops show up because they've tracked Louise's credit card down because I guess they know it's her car. I don't know.
Yeah. She rented a car with her credit card, and they're tracking her for some reason, even though I don't know how they wouldn't know.
I guess they saw her license plate when they shot at the car.
Stupid.
So they go to run from the hotel, but as they're leaving, Louise is like, oh no, I forgot my tiny rocket keychain. It's very sentimental to me.
Yeah.
So Medusa has to run back and barely escapes the cops by, she leaps out the third story window and lands. She's wearing very high heels. Yeah. I was very impressed. I'm like,
I think what we've learned is all the Inhumans, regardless of what their power are a little bit stronger and a little bit more nimble and a little bit more capable than humans.
Absolutely. Because she leaps out that third story and lands on her feet. It's actually a good shot because the camera travels with her.
What it should have been is her jumping and then realizing she doesn't have her hair anymore to grab on things and just splatting on her face.
Or you're not on the moon anymore, so you don't have the lower gravity.
That's also good.
There's lots of things that could be done, but no, they're all just superheroes. So none of these things faze them. They get away from the cops. They stop for lunch at some food trucks.
Oh, and by the way, that food truck scene was clearly shot in front of a green screen.
Was it?
Yeah, and I hated it.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Oh, what I noticed is Medusa's chowing down on that sandwich. She's just like, oh, so good. There's no meat on the moon.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, no meat on the moon? All right.
Yeah. They didn't set up one restaurant.
I mean, there's no animals. Except for Lockjaw, who we now know is a human who got turned into a dog for teleports. Or an inhuman.
Do you think he'd be tasty?
Lockjaw? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big time.
Some barbecue sauce.
He could feed a whole family. He's huge.
Oh, you could have such a barbecue, put a little apple in his mouth and put him on a spit, spin him around.
You never know. That might be Maximus's plan going forward.
Oh, Maximus, when I get that dog.
The next time Crystal's like, where's my dog? And he's like,
He's eating
you just ate it.
He's eating a sandwich. Uh-oh. They're having their little lunch at this food truck stand. Louise finally tracks down where the helicopter's final landing site was via satellite, and she's happy. So Louise gets up to throw out their lunch garbage, and a hot young food truck worker walks by and says, "How's your day?" And while she's distracted answering how her day is, Medusa runs off with the laptop.
Yeah.
And I have a question for you, though. When Louise turns around, she sees that Medusa's run off, and she says, "This is just like Space Camp all over again." What happened at Space Camp?
I don't think anything happened at Space Camp, nor does anyone who wrote that know what happened. It's just a funny line of she's a nerd, and people are mean to nerds.
Do you think her parents just dropped her off in a field and told her it was Space Camp?
Yes, that's what happened.
And then when they picked her up a week later, they're like, "Oh, I guess everyone ditched you. Weird."
It's just that isn't she poor Louise? She's just such a loser.
Poor, beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Louise.
Yeah. Well, Luke, she's wearing glasses.
Oh, you're right. Disgusting.
It's disgusting.
But thankfully, Medusa doesn't know how to read a computer, so she's wandering aimlessly, and Louise has track my computer turned on.
Yeah.
So she tracks her down immediately. They get in
Yeah, it's one of those an obstacle that isn't an obstacle at all. Yeah.
It's just a point, because she drags him down, and they basically have an argument about I don't know what the argument's about, but in the course of it, it's revealed that stupid this whole episode's been about this rocket ship keychain that Louise doesn't want anyone to touch, and if it gets left back at the hotel room, she needs someone to go get it. She's like, the rocket ship keychain, it contains my dad's ashes, and I want to put them on the moon. And she's like, when pressed for further explanation, she's like, my dad was a scientist, but NASA, they picked pilots to go to the moon, not scientists. And I was like, slow down here. What? And I started, because basically what she's positing is when NASA launched that mission to the moon, there's a small chance if they had picked scientists, her dad would have gone instead of Buzz Armstrong.
Yeah.
Let's do the math on this real quick.
Buzz Aldrin.
Sure. Buzz Armstrong. Let's assume Louise is like, let's call her 35 years old.
Yeah.
So she's born like 1987 because it's 2017, 1987. Moon landing, 1969. All the astronauts in that, I looked this up. All the astronauts who went to the moon, they were all 39 years old when that happened. So her dad had her at 52 years old.
It could have happened.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but this is just so confusing to be like, yeah, my dad could have gone to the moon 40, 50 years ago. How old are you?
I like that you stopped to do the math on that. Here's the thing. The reason they're mentioning it because clearly she's going to get that on the moon at some point later in the show. That's the whole point of this, that the viewers are like, wow, I hope she gets up there at some point, except no one does because the show sucks.
But to make the long argument short, basically Medusa deduces that they both had parents who were losers who never fulfilled any of their dreams because like her parents never did their revolution. Her dad never made it to the moon, so they both have loser dads.
Yeah.
But Louise, working for Callisto, can fly to the moon anytime she wants. So maybe she'd be helpful if they can't get the dog back.
Yeah.
So the team's back together.
Yeah.
All right, let's go find Black Bolt.
Oh, can I mention one thing? Are the basic stakes of all these plot lines is the underlying idea that they all need to get back to the moon. That's the basic.
Yeah,
right?
I think step 1, get back together.
Yeah.
Step 2, get back to the moon.
But like, why even bother? Just because they're there? Like, what does it matter?
Well, because they gotta get Maximus, because he betrayed them.
Who cares?
He shaved off her hair.
I don't know. I'm just like, who cares? You're on Earth now. It's better. There's hamburgers.
He does meat. Yeah, that's true.
Right? Anyway, sorry.
They gotta get back. They're the royal family, Jordan.
I
You can't
guess.
be usurped.
Well, let him have it. It's like, oh, you took over this worse place? Sure, have it. Well, we'll stay here.
But he's gonna invade Earth and he'll be back.
I guess that's true.
Anyway, Black Bolt and Sammy, they're flown to Dr. Declan's secret Hawaiian lab, where he's basically researching people who have powers at this and giving them sanctuary. And Declan's promising to help him find Medusa, and they'd also like to study their DNA.
Yeah, he basically is like, he's like, I want to do genetic tests on you. Don't worry, no strings attached.
No strings attached. It's free genetic testing.
Yeah, free genetic testing. And they're like,
would you say no?
absolutely not.
I want to know what's in there.
Yeah.
He does do a little test on Black Bolt, which he discovers that Black Bolt is not a human. He has the most perfect DNA ever.
Yeah.
And did you catch this?
What does
too?
that mean? Like, what does that mean?
It's the most perfect DNA ever, Jordan. It's perfect.
Like, what does that mean? In comparison to what?
Everybody knows.
For the end result of what?
Everybody knows DNA is rated on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, he's a 10.
10.
Yeah.
He also notices by studying his DNA that Black Bolt has unusually large neural pathways that supercharge his vocal cords.
Yeah. You can tell that by doing the genetic
Just
test.
looking at his DNA. Also, as an explanation for why he has this power is very funny.
Yeah.
Your brain's real good, so your vocal cords are loud.
They're real supercharged.
Anyway, Declan basically is just like, hey, I got to go talk to I got a guy. I work with him. I got to tell him about this great discovery because this could change everything. This could cure all human diseases.
Yeah, he says that. He's like, this can cure all diseases. And I was like, how?
All genetic diseases.
How?
I don't know. It's perfect.
He's
Jordan.
like, what?
It's perfect.
Because they have to give him a reason to be there and why he wants to do this. Like, but none of this makes any sense.
And his guy he calls, why, it's Maximus on the moon.
Can you believe that? So Maximus has a cell phone
On the moon.
that he got there somehow, and seemingly for I'm gonna guess at least quite a bit of time has been pretending to be Max, this benefactor of this geneticist.
Yeah, I guess he's some sort of benefactor of a geneticist, and he calls him to tell him, hey, I got this great Black Bolt guy.
Is he paying him in moon rocks?
I don't know what he's paying him. He seems to be somehow doing this.
Yeah.
It's all very unclear. Maximus has a really long game going on.
Yeah.
Because we're just seeing the end of the con.
I think he started this when he was 13.
It's that would make the most sense to me. I mean, he's a human, so he can pass. No one would ever suspect.
That's true.
Basically, in telling that he has Black Bolt, Maximus is like, wait, what? You have Black Bolt? Why don't you just put him down for me? Sounds like he's a little too dangerous. And Declan's like, I can't. If we don't study him, I can't cure all the diseases. And you never know. Like, if we study him, maybe we could like give ourselves cool powers. And Maximus is like, oh, you've got my attention. So we need to keep him alive. He's like, oh yeah, if we kill him, his genes break.
Yeah, that was a weird thing. It's like I can't use it if he's dead. It's like, oh, you've just created a rule That doesn't work.
I think this is the thing about his cellular structure would break down if he died.
Yeah, it's not perfect anymore.
So basically Maximus is like, all right, I guess I need to keep him alive. But I don't know what Gorgon is, so maybe I'll just send Orin, Morris, and my team of Inhumans over there to get Black Bolt and just, keep him under wraps. I guess that's the plan. He's like, so he calls up Oron, and he's like, head over to Black Bolt and keep him there. We cut back to Black Bolt, and he's trying to find his wife, and he's got like a tablet. And he's like, they're flipping through the mutants that are in Declan's lab. It goes by really fast, but I wrote down all the mutants we get to see.
Oh, really?
There was a lady with long fingers.
Yeah.
There was a lady with red skin, but still blonde hair.
Yeah.
There was a guy face covered in scars.
Yeah, that's not a good one.
There's a person who's just kind of floating, like he's in an X-File.
Like he's in an X-File.
Yeah, like he's in an X-File. There's a lady with just a really wide mouth. That's her power. And there's a dude with a porcupine face.
Now, who would you take of those if you had to pick one?
Oh, wide
for
mouth.
yourself. You want to be wide mouth?
Yeah, I put my fist in there.
Oh, I take long fingers.
Oh, yeah. Well, go with your neck.
That's true. Well, I don't want to have both. I don't want to be a giraffe boy and have long fingers.
Why not?
No, I have hooves.
What a treat.
What a treat, yeah.
But essentially, it's like, okay, he learns Medusa isn't here. And him and Sammy are kind of watching what's happening in the one room of the lab we get to see. Like, they don't even really travel. They don't even really show us much of this lab.
Is this, I don't mean to ruin this, is this when he noticed there's like a little vial of poison?
Yeah. They like pick up a syringe and Sammy's just like, this syringe is full of poison.
And they're like, let's get out of here.
They're like, maybe this place isn't good. We should leave. Yeah. I mean, imagine Black Bolt saying that because he's a dummy, but he does it all in facial expressions.
Yeah, it's just a lot of
poison.
Yeah.
His
mugging is so over the top.
I love it so much. This is the best part. They leave the lab because no one tries to, like, there's nobody stopping them, so they just walk out of the lab, but they bump directly into Orin, Mortis, and the gang, and Orin like tries to bluff that she has Medusa already, so Black Bolt needs to come with her, and Black Bolt kind of surrenders, and like he does a thing where he causes a distraction so that Sammy can run away. But while this is all happening, Mortis comes out and he's like, I'm gonna blast you with my eyes. They're like, yeah, kill him. Let's not do what Maximus says. Let's kill him. And then Louise and Medusa drive up in a car and like they open their car door and hit him with the car door and they knock down.
But
Mortis.
first there's a shot of Black Bolt who very slowly runs over to like a gas tank and like pulls a cable, and they're like, oh, you've released gas. You're very smart, Black Bolt, because now if he shoots you, we all die. And I was like, but the way it's shot, he has to run about 5 feet, but he does it in like 10 seconds. It just is like the slowest run over. And so I was like, you could have stopped him. Anyone could have stopped him on the way. But then also it was like, they were going to shoot him anyways or not.
That's the thing is like, he pulls that gas tank out in order to be like, oh, you're so smart. Like now we can't shoot you. And they're like, it doesn't matter. Shoot him. We'll die together. Like it doesn't stop him.
Yeah.
So the car has to drive by and then save him. And then when the car drives by, it knocks over Mortis and he shoots it anyway and it explodes.
Yeah.
And Black Bolt's fine. Everyone else is knocked unconscious, I guess. But Black Bolt's fine. Him and Medusa scoop up Orin, throw her in the trunk, and they're like, well, now we've got her.
Here's another thing. Instead of running over and grabbing the little propane pipe or whatever he does, why doesn't
he just scream at them?
Just scream at them. Just once. Oh, he doesn't have to scream. He just has to go, but apparently. And he could have just stopped this whole problem and just killed them all. Like, I know he doesn't want to do it, and it's like, it's a curse for him. It's like, but this is a problem, and all these people are here to kill you. All you have to do is open your mouth and kill them all, and it's all over. And
I don't know. They need him to be a hero who doesn't kill anyone, but it just like, gets frustrating.
Well, it's because it's just like anything. It's like, even the thing was like in the prison, it's like, there's no stakes here. You just cough and blow the wall off the prison. It's like he's out.
Why wouldn't he? I don't know.
Why not?
Anyway, that kind of wraps up what's going on with Medusa and Black Bolt this episode.
God, there's other plot lines I forgot.
Yeah, haven't you been wondering what's been up with Maximus has been up to?
Not really.
He wants genetic council to give him pterogenesis again.
Yeah, he's decided, I've noticed that we only do it once. My thought is, let's do it twice.
They're like, no, it seems dangerous. And then he gets that call from his old friend on Earth. And he's just like, well, what if I get some secret power from the DNA of Black Bolt that unlocks a key in me? Then I can do the pterogenesis again because the humans are becoming like us, but they're humans. And
yeah,
how's that sound? And they're like, I don't know. So he has the genetic council beaten up and banished.
Yeah.
The end.
That's it.
Hey, Jordan, do you remember when Lockjaw got hit by an ATV?
I do. And what we find out real quick is it was a very handsome, tousled hair man that has done it.
Oh, it's time for some teen romance plot.
Oh, there's a scene coming up, and we'll get to it. It reeks of Hallmark movies so bad. It's laughably bad.
This whole thing is very, very much that, because this guy's named Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Very handsome.
He's very handsome, to be fair.
He is not that off-put by having hit a giant dog, but he happens to know a veterinarian. So why don't we go back to my cool horse ranch where I live, this horse ranch I run. I'm a handsome horse rancher. We'll call up the vet, who's a student, and also my ex-girlfriend.
Oh,
Ooh,
man,
drama.
the tension here, huh?
They show up, and there's a lot of like interpersonal background drama we get to be privy to. It's like,
little catty comments to each other.
It's like, oh, they didn't have a great relationship, but they still kind of like each other. Isn't this interesting? But wait, it's a love triangle because now Crystal's here and she's into Dave.
Also, they mentioned that Crystal put on some like old clothing and stuff, but I love how just fast they have to get them out of their costumes and into like
regular
clothing.
Human clothes.
Yeah.
Sure, she's wearing his sweater, and the ex-girlfriend's like, that's his sweater.
He's like, I don't like that one bit. But he broke up with me a year ago.
But they show the ex-girlfriend the giant dog, and she is also not overly off-put by a giant dog.
Yeah, everyone just keeps going, that dog's huge. And she's like, yeah. And they're like, well, there it is.
Well, Crystal's just like, as soon as she's like, it's a big dog, she's like, I'm from the moon.
That's one thing everyone has to know. Everyone from the Inhuman team, whatever they're called, they constantly tell all the secrets, constantly.
If you meet them, the first thing out of their mouth is like, moon.
Yeah.
Anyway, the vet seriously just looks at the dog and says, minor injuries, nothing broken. Just give him some rest.
Yeah, she doesn't even touch him or anything. I think it's because she can't go too close to the CGI thing without making it weird. But yeah, she just looks and is like, he looks fine. And then this alien creature I've never seen before checks out.
Crystal starts to pout and stomp her feet, saying she wants the dog better now and that she's a bad doctor.
Yeah.
At which point, the best joke of the show, the doctor's just like, calm down, princess. And she's like, how do you know I'm a princess?
Yeah, but that's not the best scene. The best scene's next.
Where Dave teaches her to high five.
Yes. It's as bad as you think. He just goes for a high five. She's like, what's this? And he's like, sometimes people high five. And they high five. Then they both kind of like sheepishly look at each other like, we might be in love.
Well, it's because after they high five, she says to him, he's like, I've never been touched by a human before.
Yeah.
She's never been touched by a human before. She's in love.
Yeah.
Romance is
That's
blossoming.
one of that. And now I don't know if that's the next one you're going to, but that's one of our 2 love stories.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of love stories, here comes Karnak.
Oh man, poor Karnak.
As you teased last episode, he's farm episoding it out here because he's taught the ganja farmers how to use irrigation to water their plants.
I know they have put all their money into this idea. They've illegally set up in the middle of a forest, but they don't know how to water their plants.
His irrigation isn't even that advanced. It's like pretty simple.
Yeah. Also, does that mean he has done this on the moon?
Who knows?
Conceivably.
Who's to say? I'm gonna float this right now because we're like most of the way through these 2 episodes, and I think you and I have had this conversation about serialized television and when shows aren't working in serialized television. I think this show is doing it specifically. Is that what we've got here in these like 4 episodes are probably 4 episodes of television, but they've been spread out over like 4 hours. It's supposed to be like if there was one episode where they go to a farm and help set up a farm, maybe it's not a good episode, but it's done in an hour. Yeah. You're not sitting with it for 4 weeks. If there's an episode where they go to a ranch because the dog needs to be helped by a veterinarian, that's one episode. You don't have to watch it for 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Gorgon meets some surfers and they have some fun in the jungle. That's 1 hour long episode.
That, by the way, way is better than the actual plot.
That's not 4 episodes worth of content.
Right.
Like that's like all of these things are like a plot from a 1980s show. Like one plot that lasts for 44 minutes, and they've just basically they're like, okay, but we make serialized TV, so just make it go. Let's just cut those individual episodes into tiny little pieces and just make those pieces happen over 4 weeks.
It magnifies how boring it is.
That's basically it. It's the thing is if it was just one episode, Ganja farm, he falls in love with this lady, blah 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 blah, and then it's over. Sure, maybe the episode turned out okay, maybe it's not great. It's over though. You don't have to come back to it next week.
It's one of the problems of separating the characters, because instead of having the characters us learn about them and how they interact together and why they're a good team and why we should care about them, they've separated them immediately, and they're like, well, you'll learn about them all individually because you really want to see what they're like together, but they've given them all really boring plot lines as opposed to what you're saying. Going to an episode where they go to a farm might be interesting if all the characters there, but if you take one character who we know nothing about, it's boring.
Yeah, I mean, it is an issue, I think, with serialized TV that shouldn't be serialized. Like, there's no reason this needs to be that serialized. But
it's modern and hip.
This could be just like, but I mean, you can still serialize things and have standalone episodes. Like, it's doable. It can be done. They just don't, like, it's just someone who doesn't know how to do it, I think. Right. Or like, it's just like, this is what serialized television is. Like, it's telling a story, an episode.
But let's prove you wrong, because what's happened to, what's his name, Krakus?
Karnak,
yeah.
As we mentioned, him and the lady farmer are giving each other sexy eyes. They go for a walk to the beach. Fun fact, Karnak's never been on a walk before.
Yeah.
He's just like, what are we doing? She's like, going for a walk. He's like, but why? It's just like, for fun? He's like, no destination.
And not only that, he's never swam before, because she immediately takes off her clothes and goes swimming. And he's like, well, there's a half-naked lady. I guess I'll try it.
He's never been swimming before. It's true. All the water on the moon is subterranean, he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go for a nice swim in the water.
Start making out immediately.
Start making out because she's been waiting to get him in there, and so we're kind of getting the romance of the episode going. They head back to camp.
She's also half his age.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. He's so dirty. I can't tell. How old he is.
He's at least twice her age.
They returned back to camp, and she's like, "Hey, why don't you share my tent with me from now on?" And he's just like, "All right, sounds like a good time." As they're going to her tent, they walk past the jerky farmer, and they're like, "Hey, where's our other friend Ted?" He's like, "I don't know, getting beer or something." Cut to, he's digging a grave for Ted.
Yeah, I know. Like, whoa, that was a turn.
And at some point, Karnak's just like, he mentions, he's like, "Hey, that jerky farmer, have you noticed he kind of has sociopathic tendencies?" And the lady's just like, he's from New York.
Shut up. Let's have this chase sex scene.
Well, it is great because they go into this sex scene, and Karnak's just like, because he's a man who can think of a million things. He's like perplexed by how a bra works.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Oh.
And she's like, "Let me show you."
End of episode.
Yeah. yeah.
And finally, who's left, Jordan? Who haven't we covered?
Gorgon.
Where's Gorgon?
Doing nothing.
Last episode, we saw him running away with the surfers. This episode, he stops running away with the surfers, tells them he needs to go find Karnak because he now cares about their lives, and he walks away.
Yeah.
The end.
That's it.
Karnak has like 2 lines the entire
episode.
Gorgon, sorry. Oh man, so many names, you guys. I can't even track them all.
Yeah, and is that all of them?
That is both of those episodes. Now, like, this is, I guess, is the problem is because no episode ever wraps up. There's no real tension in any episode because there's no end. Like, it's just like, all right, well, now we haven't concluded what's happening. Like, we need to wait till next week to even like begin to think of what a conclusion might be.
But you want to know what happens after that high five.
I mean, they really need to get them together badly. Like, this is not working. This is not working with them separate. Well, I've got some final notes here. I don't know if you do. First of all, did you know the director of Make Way for Medusa is a bit of a Continuum drag celebrity?
Oh, is that right?
He is.
Is it Greg Evigan?
It's David Straderton. He's a director. Mm-hmm. He directed 2 episodes of Freaky Links.
Oh, no.
Edith Keeler Must Die, about the mole people.
Yeah, that's right.
And The Final Word, the faux news program.
Oh, I hated that episode.
That was the best one.
No.
You gave it such a good mark.
Isn't he had that stupid mugging at the end, wasn't it?
Oh, that's right. You hated that.
He's like, "Did I fart?" or something stupid like that.
The rest of it was great.
It was not.
Yeah. So he's a bit of we've seen him before, his work, and now he's back. He's doing some Inhumans.
He's just knocking it out of the park once again.
And one thing we haven't talked about much, it's a very minor thing, but like the key plot point to this, and all of these, in every single one of these like plot lines, everyone's constantly talking about, they're my family. Your surfers are my family now. That's my family. I got to go save them. Family. Like, they say family more in this than a Fast and Furious movie. Like, I kept watching. I'm just like, this feels like a Fast and the Furious movie. Like, family is like the only trait they have and the only thing they have to fall back on. It's so bizarre.
I have one point. We're sort of, when we've mentioned this early on, we're sort of led to believe that we're not supposed to be for Maximus, regardless of maybe he has some noble ideas. It's the way he's going about it. We're not supposed to like him, but there's been no indication that Black Bolt was a good king.
No.
So it's like, why do we care? Why do we care he's being dethroned? We don't know anything about him.
I mean, arguably, he's not a great king. I mean, the fact there's a caste system and like he's basically been propping up.
Yeah, and it's like, so Maximus wants to invade Earth. I'm like, maybe that he should. Maybe they have been treated badly and they should invade Earth. I don't know. Why do I care?
I mean, that is the thing, is Maximus's goals are actually reasonable and almost noble in some ways. But he himself, every time he has to do something, he always has to be like evil about it so that we know he's the bad guy. Because I think that's the problem, is like his goals, like a better show would have made you sympathize with him and only make him do the heel turn at the end of it. You should kind of be on his side till the end.
He's constantly having to show that he's evil, just like Black Bolt's constantly having to mug to show that he can't talk.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Jordan, should we rate these?
Yeah, let's do them.
All right, Divide and Conquer.
I'm going to give this a 5.5. It's not a good episode of TV. It's not the worst. There's some ideas. It just nothing really lands. So 5.5.
I'm going to say for Divide and Conquer, I actually had a nice time watching it. Like, it was fun and fluffy, and like I as I watched it, I'm like, this is all right. I think it's a 6.5 for me. Coming out of the first kind of pilot, I was just like, I knew it was happening, and now it was just kind of like them on like kind of their own little separate adventures and like some action and some laughs. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but 6.5.
We're not too far off there.
And then Make Way for Medusa.
I felt like this was very... I'm going to also give this a 5.5. They're both just kind of like halves of an episode that you don't want to watch.
I'll be honest, when I got to the second episode, basically that was the breaking point, I think, for me. Because I was just like, oh, we're never going to move this plot forward, are we? And
oh, no, that's definitely never going to happen.
Basically, I think I had the stamina for those first three. And the fact that at the end of the third, they hadn't concluded the pilot. Like, we're still basically in a pilot plot. Yeah. It's a 4. Like, it basically, it's like it had worn out. Like, I sat down after watching the third one. I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun and goofy. I'm enjoying myself. And then by the end of the fourth one, I'm like, I hate this.
It's sad to say, like, we knew this wasn't going to be a good show because of the reviews. However, I should say, the hate this got, I don't think is entirely warranted.
Yeah, better than what people said.
Because like we didn't talk about it, but I actually wrote down some of the comments some people had, which were stuff like, worst thing I've watched all year, disappointing on every level, calling Inhumans hot trash as a compliment, a travesty against fans. So those are some of the comments I read. It's not those. Like, honestly, they want to watch some bad shows. We got some that we've done past episodes on. You know what I mean? Like, that's some bad TV. I think the expectations were very high for a contingent of fans. But this is, saying that aside, it's not the worst episode of television you're ever going to watch, but it's not good. And it's not even that it's getting worse. It's they just keep hitting the same beats of an extra long episode that is not that interesting to begin with. Because now we're into almost 4 hours of an episode.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's exactly it. It feels like we're still in the pilot.
Yeah.
And we're halfway through the season.
Halfway. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
One last thing. Wouldn't it be fun if Medusa, her hair was still moving, even though it's really short? I keep waiting for them to do a scene where it's grown out a little bit and we get to see something. Because, I mean, that's the tease. We have to see it at some point, right? Yeah. I'm assuming it's going to come back from one big final battle. She grows out a lot? Little sideburns or something. Or she gets really close to somebody? Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, until next week, if you have any thoughts on Inhumans, you can email us at continuumdrag@gmail.com. And, of course, on Instagram and Twitter, we'll have some clips from the show. I mean, dogs getting hit by ATVs, teenage romance, Ganja war romance. Lots of romance. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at continuumdrag. And that about wraps it up, listener. Jordan, thanks for doing this. Another amazing week of Inhumans. Yeah. I'll see you next week. I'll see you then. Continuum Drag is recorded in Toronto, Ontario. Theme music by James Rexedler. Produced by Jordan Delic and Luke Black. Special thanks to Aaron Yunes, Adam Wheatner, Jeff Hanley, Jane McRae, and Stephen Packard.